you look around YouTube, if you look around Google, there are a million different answers to the question of how to make love last, how to stay together over the long term, how to keep a marriage fresh and exciting, how to maintain your sex life over long periods of time. Obviously, if you're in a monogamous relationship, staying together is difficult. The divorce rate is over 50% in most Western nations for a reason. It's difficult to stay together long term, and it's certainly difficult to keep the spark alive over long periods of time. In today's video, I want to talk about one of the simplest and easiest ways to keep this spark, to keep that energy flowing in a long-term relationship. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, and I think it's a shame, frankly. And today I'm going to share it with you. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013, I've been working with men and women from all over the world, helping them overcome retroactive jealousy, helping them overcome obsessive jealousy, and save their relationships. If you'd like more information about my work or you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. One of my favorite quotes about relationships comes from the Belgian psychotherapist Esther Perel, who wrote an absolutely fantastic book about long-term relationships called Mating in Captivity. And the quote is, "Desire needs distance." One of the easiest ways to maintain the spark in a long-term relationship, to keep your sex life exciting and feeling good, to maintain that attraction to each other over the long term, is make sure you are taking enough space from each other. Again, because desire needs distance. Ironically, I think a lot of couples make the opposite mistake. To rekindle things or to reignite the spark, they start spending way more time together. They start spending even more of their daily hours in the same room or in the same space. And obviously there are different ways to take space from each other. If you live in a tiny apartment, this can be challenging sometimes. But the basic point is, the more time you spend in the same place, the more your energies are somewhat depolarized. So this is an idea, a very old idea, that comes to us from tantric philosophy. I won't go on my long rant about tantra and all the benefits and all the rest. Maybe in another video I'll do that. But the basic idea for the purposes of this video is this. On the one hand, you've got masculine energy, and on the other hand, you've got feminine energy. By the way, this is true regardless of your genders, regardless of your sexual orientation. In general, in every relationship, there's some balance between masculine and feminine energies. Note that I didn't say male, female, I said masculine, feminine. And in general, the more time you spend in the same place with each other constantly, even in the same physical space, the more your energies will become somewhat even or matched, and you'll become depolarized to each other. And if you think about this, you'll realize this happens, probably to you, and it certainly happened to me in just about every relationship I've been in to some extent. It makes sense when you spend a lot of time with someone who you love and respect and all the rest, and you enjoy spending time with, you're going to become somewhat more like that person. You might adopt some of their mannerisms and some of the ways they speak, and you might take more interest in their interests, and you realize that. So while that's great for something like friendship, it isn't great for sexual tension, because a key component in building sexual attraction, sexual tension, is some degree of different energies, different masculine and feminine energies. But if you don't want to think about it like that, if you don't want to think about masculine and feminine, you can just think of it in terms of you're both becoming more alike, and you're losing something in that process. You're losing a certain amount of attraction because you're becoming more alike. A big part of what attracted you to your partner all those months or all those years or maybe even all those decades ago was the unknown. They were somewhat different than you. They maybe had different interests, and they had a different energy, and they brought something different to your life, different ideas and different perspectives and all the rest. They were different than you, and even biologically, for heterosexuals at least, they were a different gender. You understand, a big part of what creates attraction is difference. And the same goes for your partner. They were attracted to you because you brought a different spirit or a different energy or a different vibe into their life. And the more time you spend with each other, the more things become more balanced. And maybe you're great friends, but the sexual tension is lacking. So coming back to the main thrust of this video, no pun intended, main thrust, is a great way to start rebuilding some of that attraction and some of that tension is to reclaim some of the parts of yourself that maybe you've lost in the relationship over time. And of course, this is not your fault. This is not your partner's fault. This is one of those things that often happens in long-term relationships. So my advice to anyone in a relationship who's seeking to reignite that lost spark, who's seeking to amplify sexual attraction in the relationship, is spend more time apart. Pursue your own interests, your own friendships, your own hobbies, and all that rest. Make sure you're making time for that stuff outside of the relationship. Of course, spending time with your partner is very important. Of course, I'm not saying you should take a 4-year vacation and go away and completely neglect them. But make a little more effort towards reconnecting with the version of you that was you long before you met your partner. Start reconnecting to your younger self. Maybe you can pick up some of your interests and hobbies, and maybe even some of your friendships that you've let slip by the wayside recently. Desire needs distance. This is one of the simplest and easiest ways to start rebuilding the spark in your relationship. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below. While you're at it, I'll ask you to please leave a comment telling me what you think. And please be sure you are subscribed to my channel to be notified of new videos moving forward. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.